Let's just delete that one. We'll start fresh. Start fresh.
Yep. I have my roll and write fingers on.
We go! Hi, I'm Jayne.
And I'm Jen.
And we're SpielMill.
And we are counting down our top 50 roll and writes. We are on our 30 through 21. See if I get that right.
That's right. And this includes any print and play roll and writes, commercial roll and writes. So it could come from any source, but we've done a lot of roll and write gaming because of my illness. We were stuck in a reclining chair, so we kind of played about 150 of them. So this is our chance to share what was the best of the crop.
Yeah. Well, why don't you kick us off with your number 30?
Sure. My number 30 actually was just on your list in the last video, and that is Kingdomino Duel. This is from Bruno Cathala and Ludovic Mablanc, and this is just, if you know Kingdomino, this is a roll and write implementation of it, so it's very much a direct attempt to replicate Kingdomino in a roll and write form, and it works pretty well. I don't like it quite as much as Kingdomino, but pretty
sure.
But it's good. It's very good, and it's very enjoyable, and so that's why I like it. It's Kingdomino Duel.
And I know it might be crazy to think of Kingdomino as being hard to get to the table, but sometimes it is, and this is actually a really good sub for the standard Kingdomino.
Yep.
All right, nice choice. Obviously, since I just had it. My number 30.
Yeah, it's now in the perfect place where it belongs.
Okay, we'll see. My number 30, I don't think you've mentioned, and I think you specifically realized you forgot it, is a print and play from Ellie Dix at the Dark Imp, and it's Restaurantrepreneur.
I did forget to put it on my list.
It's a mouthful.
Restaurantrepreneur.
Restaurantrepreneur.
It's kind of takes the word restaurant and the word entrepreneur and makes it one word.
Yeah. This is a really fun game. It's got 5 areas on the sheet that each represent a portion of what you need to do to open a restaurant. So going shopping for things for your restaurant, creating a menu, hiring, etc., etc. And you roll 3 dice, and every turn you pick 1 dice to decide which of the 5 areas you're going to write in. 1 dice will be the value that you put there, and then the 3rd dice is sort of like currency that you spend. And I think it's like the 1 and 2 are marked off in one area, the 3 and 4 in another, and the 5 and 6 in another. And so you only have so many stars in each of those boxes, so eventually you will run out of time. As soon as you fill up one of them, the game's over. So you've really got to balance, I really want to use that 5, but my 2s are really filling up, so I can't use the 2 as currency. I'm gonna have to forgo it this turn. And there's a lot of chunky decision making in a roll and write, and I love the theme. I don't know if it's highly thematic, but I just like the idea of, okay, I'm hiring people. I love going shopping for things for the restaurant. This is just a really fun game.
Yeah, I mean, it's got the themes there a bit. It's certainly a roll and write, and it's a little bit abstract in places, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan. As I said, it would have been on here. I don't know how I missed it. I just missed it entirely. So that's bound to happen. So I'm not sure where it would fall. But I think it would have made my top 50 if I hadn't missed it.
Yeah, I think so.
So.
All right. What's your number 29?
All right, my 29 is, I think, one you probably like better. But I like it quite a bit, obviously. It's in my top 30, so that's pretty good. And this is Dice Kingdoms of Valeria. And so Dice Kingdoms of Valeria is a roll and write game from the people who do Valeria, the Valeria games. And it's pretty good. It's one of those super combo-ristic, combo-tastic, what's the word? Roll and writes where, you get tons of combos. Mark this off, mark this off, mark that off, mark that off, mark this off, mark that off. Just little chains of combos, and it's really fun that way. It's a little bit longer, I think, is the only negative. I think it usually takes us about 30-40 minutes to play for a roll and write. But it's really fun. You're killing monsters. You're protecting the town wall. You're traveling through the town in different locations, and It's about as thematic as a roll and write gets, really. I mean,
Yeah.
It's got a little bit. It's lighter than like Hadrian's Wall, but it's got a little bit of look and feel of Hadrian's Wall for me, and
Yeah.
I really like it. So I have it as my 29 Dice Kingdoms of Valeria, and the designer is Levi Moat.
Yeah, it is really combo-tastic, and that is one of the things I love in a good roll and write is just you're getting bonuses on every turn, and you're looking how to maximize them, and sometimes you just get that sort of waterfall of bonuses, which just feels so good.
Yep. Yeah, I think the hardest thing is just making sure you keep track. You're doing your accounting well. So.
Yeah. Great. Well, my number 29, I think you might have already mentioned, I'm not sure, is another print and play from Emmanuel Ornella at Mind the Move Games, and it is Hermagor Market.
Oh, it's a
and
good one.
It is basically a map of a medieval area, and you're going from town to town, you're collecting resources, and you're selling off those resources. And basically, when you roll your dice every turn, you're kind of picking a column and a row, and you're filling in where they meet up, and that's going to tell you like what color resource or what type of resource that you get to sell at the next town. And each town has a specific requirement for what they want. If you can't fulfill their requirements, you don't get the points that turn. So it's really just trying to eke out the most from the goods that you can collect. And again, as with all really good, I think with all really good roll and writes, there's sort of a timing element to the dice too. You're spending a certain amount of money, of points, to gather goods, to store goods, and that's going to take away from your points at the end of the game if you're not really thoughtful about how you're doing that. So that is my number 29, Hermagor Market.
It's a good choice. I like that one a lot too. Mm-hmm. My 28 is a print and play one we got off Kickstarter. This one's pretty popular, so you've probably heard of it. But this one is called Voyages. It's from Postmark Games, and the designers are Matthew Dunstan and Rory Muldoon, who are a pretty good designing team. And, so it is basically you go on sea voyages, you travel around the map, try to collect things or shoot down pirate ships, or, you're doing different things. There's actually like 5 or 6 different maps.
Yep.
And so depending on which map you have, you're doing some of the core things like the movement and visiting islands and stuff are on every map, but then there's each map will differ. Like you're collecting relics, or some maps have drift on them, like a drift mechanic, and they all have like a little grid that you're marking off different things to get bonuses for some of that comboing fun. And so it's really fun. It's a really well designed game. We've played it a ton, so we definitely recommend it. And so that's my number 28, Voyages.
Yeah, I really like this one too. I love the fact that there's a bunch of different maps that are using the same mechanisms, mm-hmm. and so there's a lot of variety there. Once you know how to play one of them with just a few minor modifications, you can figure out the next map, and that means that you get a lot of mileage out of that one little game.
Yeah, you really do.
Great. Okay, so my number 28 is Sunshine City from Peter Hayward and Coffee Bean Games. I think you talked about this last week.
I did.
You're building solar panels, or you're solar powering for your city, and you're basically moving. You roll 2 dice. You're moving one based on the lower roll first, which kind of can impact what you do. So you kind of think about that. There are also a whole bunch of maps for this one too, or different cities, and it does what I love in a good roll and write. And again, those bells and whistles of the combos of completing one thing so that you get another thing, so then you get another thing, and then you get another thing. And I swear, I think it just hits the ADHD dopamine seeking receptors in my brain. It's like these games where you just get that bonus, you can make a choice, and how am I going to get the best bonus? And this game has a lot of that going on. It's also really pretty and colorful, and it's laid out, I think, a little bit different than some roll and writes. You've got like 3 grids across the top, 3 grids across the bottom, and then a central section over there. And so you've got a track you're moving on. And it feels creative. I really like it.
It is creative. And we just got the unlock for, they have an online generator so you can make unlimited maps.
Oh, nice.
So we haven't used it yet, but we did just get that access.
They're really economical ways to get a lot out of gaming.
Absolutely.
I will say that a lot of these print and plays, if they're not free, they're really affordable, and I don't think we've ever paid more than like $5 for one. And we've gotten a ton of play out of them.
We do. Yeah. We really do. Sorry, I was looking at my next pick. I was like, what is it? What is it? I don't remember.
That's okay. I'm doing the same thing when you're talking.
All right, so that was your 28?
Yes, it was.
All right. My 27 is one we just played for the first time, and I loved it. It was long, but it was super creative and interesting, and I think you won, but I really am so eager to get it back to the table. Some night I'm feeling well enough for a longer game, and that is Floor Plan Winchester Mystery House, because this was fun. It's based on the Winchester Mystery House, but it's based on the Floor Plan Roll and Write, which came out a few years ago, and it's got the same core mechanics with some new goal cards and such. But what's really neat is, in the original Floor Plan, you had a single grid that you drew on, and this has an overlay, so you're drawing 2 floors, and the rooms on the second floor have to overlay the rooms on the first floor, and it's just pretty neat. It's you end up with, if you know anything about the Winchester Mystery House, it's this house that was kind of built incrementally so that there's literally stairways that go to nothing, and
they just kept building and building and building over 50, 60
right.
years.
And your house at the end of this game actually reminds you of the Winchester Mystery House. It's like, why is that hallway there? I mean, it really makes sense.
Yeah.
So they kind of leaned into the chaos, and it really works. So
I can imagine. I can kind of imagine how they designed it. Is after playing one time, just looking at why do I have 6 bathrooms?
You know what this reminds me
Yeah.
of? The Winchester Mystery House.
Exactly. It's a little bit mind-bendy. I don't think I enjoyed the first play as much as you did. I really liked it, but I at the end of it, I just thought, what just happened? It was hard to keep track of, and I think I'd get used to that a little bit more.
I think it'll get better with multiple plays, and hopefully I'm right about that, because I put it all the way up at 27.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's but I'm excited about it. I really enjoyed the play, and I think if you're looking for something creative that's a little more tactile, you don't get a lot of tactileness out of roll and writes, and this has a little bit of it because of the multi-floor aspect and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's pretty neat.
Yep, it is. That's a good choice.
But my biggest thing was I couldn't remember to move that overlay when I wanted to draw on the first floor, and I'd be drawing bathrooms on the second floor, and then I'd have to erase them because I meant to draw them on the first floor. It was kind of messy, but it happened all the same.
It did. All right, my number, what are we on? 27. I don't think I mentioned this one. You can tell me if I'm repeating myself. My number 27 is from Daniel Balabas, and it is Shield of Achilles.
I mentioned it.
You mentioned it, yeah. Okay. Shield of Achilles.
Shield of Achilles.
This is one of these. This is one of these titles that every time we play it, we just start singing that song. I don't even remember what 80s sort of rock metal type band it was from. AC/DC or
it's not AC/DC.
Queen,
it's I forget what song it is right now.
Def Leppard. I don't know, somebody like that.
Motley Crue, maybe.
Anyway, Shield of Achilles, which has nothing to do with Def Leppard or Motley Crue, is a great game. You talked about it last time. You've got a circle with quadrants in it you're trying to fill out. There is a really restrictive but therefore interesting rule about where you can play your next move after you fill out a particular quadrant. The timer on it is really neat. So you have to put, one of the dice you use as a timer, and you put it around the outside. When it fills up, you're done. The game is over. But then you you're trying to score more points than you put numbers in on that circle. So you want those numbers to be as low as possible. However, you get penalized if you've got more of the same numbers. So it's just what a max min problem of trying to figure out, how to best use those numbers. It's mathy in that way, but and I'm not really a math person, but I love this game. First time we played it, we were just, kind of blown away at how enjoyable it was. And this is one that I kind of crave to play.
And creative,
sometimes. Yeah, and creative and a little bit thematic. Particular themes doesn't take a lot for me to resonate with me, and ancient Greece is one of those themes. I spent a semester in Greece in college, and there's enough of it here that it instantly trips off all the memories in my brain and all the knowledge, and I love this game. So that is my number 27, Shield of Achilles. It is a web published game, so it's probably either really cheap or free. You should check it out.
Okay, my 26 is a game from... We've only played this a couple times, and it's one that we have a system for playing roll and writes from the recliners. Because of my illness, I was stuck in a recliner all the time, or the bed, so it was one or the other. And this game is one we never adopted for, and that's why we haven't played it more. But I really enjoyed it when we played it, and it's Biblios, Quill, and Parchment. And this is from Steve Finn and Dr. Finn's Games. And it's just cool. It features a monastery, which, is what it is. And I don't remember all the gameplay because it's been a while. I just remember my experience of it being so good and so positive.
Yeah, I don't think this made... I know it didn't make my list. I kind of forgot about it because we played it that one time.
I need to pull it out and implement it so that we can play it from the chairs when we're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Because then we'll get it to the table.
Yeah, absolutely. We played this one in bed. Before we figured out how to move our setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have to play it again soon.
Yep, we do.
All right.
Yeah, so my 26 is Biblios, Quill, and Parchment, based on his game Biblios, if you're familiar with that. So.
All right, nice. My number 26 is a crossover. I think our top 50 are going to be almost all crossovers because we play, we know which games we love. But
with some variation, as you see.
Yeah. You mentioned this one. I think you mentioned... I was going to say you mentioned this last week, but you may have just actually mentioned this in a theme, a holiday theme of the day game. So
I'll tell you.
That is Deadball by William Akers from Akers Games.
Yeah, I mentioned it on one of our theme of the day videos.
Okay, all right. So you haven't mentioned it yet. This game is fun. You're simulating a baseball game. You're rolling dice. You're playing with. It's very interactive. So it's way more interactive than a lot of roll and writes because your partner is defending, and they can, you can have a great hit, and they can stop you dead, and you're not going anywhere. I love the fact that he's done so much research and provided the stats for the old Negro Leagues, many of which were based here in Pittsburgh. So you could go back and you could simulate those games. We play with real teams. I think we did a Yankees Pirates once. We play with some of the college teams that we like to follow. We just take their stats from online, and we each take a turn playing as one of the other teams. It's just so lovely. I really enjoy this game. It's a nice way to pass, an afternoon, especially in the spring during baseball season, which is usually when we play it.
And I remember you saying that it helped you learn the sport.
It did
really a lot. So.
It absolutely helped me learn the sport. This is where I figured out what a 1-5-3 is.
How to score. You should learn how to score.
I don't know what that means right now off the top of my head. I'd have to be looking at the page, but
that means a pitcher threw it to the third baseman and threw it to the first baseman and got it out or something.
There you go.
Or a double play or something.
I would have gotten there eventually. But sorry, I shook the camera. But I think that's neat. We do watch a lot of baseball. I don't know that much about it, or I never have until I married Jayne and we started watching a lot of baseball because she's a fan. but I think it's an underrated sport because it's slow compared to the American pace of football, and it's thinky. There's a lot of strategy and intellect that goes into a game of baseball, and playing Deadball really helped me kind of understand a lot more than I had understood before.
And it's a great stat sport, which is one of the reasons I really like it.
Yeah.
But it's a great sport to watch for someone with my illness who has a lot of downtime. I have a lot of downtime, folks.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see it on camera, and I play a lot of board games, so I'm managing to do that right now. But my downtime, there's a lot of it. So baseball is a good way to wow the time.
Something people don't talk about is how unbearably boring it is to be chronically ill.
Yes.
It really is. It's miserable.
She hears about it.
But I'm grateful that you have things like baseball and where you'll play along with the game that you're watching. And, if you're stuck in bed, if you're stuck in one place all the time and you can't do anything that you used to love, it's a brilliant, wonderful way to pass time.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. So.
Yeah. All right. So that was my number 26, Deadball.
Okay, halfway through. All right, number 25. This is halfway through our top 50. My number 25 is much better known than most of the games that have been on my list. This is Rolling Realms from Jamie Stegmaier and Stonemaier Games.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, this is what it is. It's he developed this during the early pandemic days, beginning then. People were looking for things to do. And this was a way to sort of interact online. And I remember playing the early prototypes as something to do, and it was really fun. And it became a fun game. And there's a solo play with a golf system that's really fun. And they keep releasing new packs, so they have one for Terra Mystica, I believe, Feast for Odin.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different games you can add to the mix. And it's just really fun. There's basically a deck of cards, and each card is a different game. And in a typical game, you'll play 9 of those cards. And so it'll be like 9 different little mini games, 3 at a time, and rolling dice, and that's it. It's really fun though, and you can do it from your recliner really easily. So
yeah,
it's perfect for it.
It is perfect. This is a really good one. I really love this game as well, and I love the variability of it. We always randomly pick our cards, so some work better together than others. Some are terrible mixes, but we play with what we get, and I like that about it.
So that's my number 25, Rolling Realms.
Great. My number 25 is Paper Dungeons, a dungeon scrawler game from Leandro Pyers. And I actually had to look up because I couldn't remember how to play this. We've got 4 or 5 different dungeon crawler roll and writes, and I really like a lot of them. And I know, like, from looking at it, which one I like and like where they are, but I could not for the life of me remember how this played. So I did look it up. Now I really want to play again as soon as possible. It's got a variable setup, which I love. Not only are you like drawing monsters and things like that, but you're drawing walls in your dungeon based on the setup card that you pick, so it kind of changes every game how you're going. And you roll 6 dice. It's simultaneous action for each player. You lose points for skulls that come up, and then you get to do 3 other actions. And you can level up your character, you can craft an artifact, you can brew potions, or of course explore dungeons. So there's a lot of game here for a roll and write. There's just so much that you can do. Again, and I love, that's one of my favorite things in a roll and write, is when the designers are able to just stuff it full of choices and decisions and that gameplay that you don't associate with something like a simple roll and write. So that is my number 25.
It's a good choice.
Yeah,
it was early on my list, so.
Yep.
My number 24 is based on a really, really well known and well considered game, and it is Castles of Burgundy, the dice game. And this is a really good one. It gives you the feel of Castles of Burgundy in a smaller package, without obviously being the full Castles of Burgundy. It plays well multiplayer. That comes with 4 different maps: map A, map B, map C, map D. So you have a little bit of variety there. But it also plays really well solo. This plays really, really well solo. I like how simple and easy it is to play solo.
Yeah.
So I've played this both ways and enjoy it solo and multiplayer, and it's just really fun. It really does give you a taste of what Castles of Burgundy's like. I still want to play Castles of Burgundy when I can, but really, really enjoy this one. And
Yeah.
obviously it's my number 24. It's obviously high up on my list, and it belongs there because it's really good. That's Castles of Burgundy, the dice game.
Yeah, and there's some player interaction in this one, not a lot, but I like it when there's even just a little bit. And so you're trying to get all of the purple, for example, and the first person to get all the purple gets a bonus. And that bonus can make the difference. Like, oftentimes it's whoever gets those bonuses is the one that actually wins the game. And so you're kind of racing for finishing those all of one kind of territory against the person that you're playing with. And I don't have anything wrong or anything against the multiplayer solo games at all, but especially when we spent so much time playing just roll and writes, having one that has that little bit of interaction with somebody is a really nice.
Yeah, and it's not like take that interaction,
No.
which is something we never like. So.
No, we don't like that at all.
Yeah.
All right, great.
What's your 24?
My 24 is a crossover from this list.
Ooh!
Sort of. It's floor plan.
Oh, okay.
I did not think about where floor plan Winchester Mystery Mansion, or whatever it's called, would fit on this list. But usually when there's a game series, whichever one is higher is the one I take. Right now,
that's kind of what I did.
Yeah.
I chose the Mystery House.
I think right now regular floor plan is higher, but I think the Mystery House is going to surpass it with a couple more plays. Like I said, there was just that little bit of like, what the hell am I doing to the first game that kept me from really having this one sort of the top. But I love floor plan. When I was a kid, I was a geek, right? We were all nerds of some sort, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Someone gave me some graph paper, and what did I do with that graph paper? I pretended I was an architect and I drew houses.
Of course.
I was like 8 years old and I was designing houses. So floor plan gives me that feeling. I love that. I love drawing my house on the little grids and imagining what this is going to look like and meeting the requirements of the customers. This is just one that speaks to my inner child nerd that she was. So that is my number 24, Floor Plan by Marek Tuppy and Deepwater Games. I don't know, is the other one designed by the same people? Or is it just the same publishing company?
It's John Berger and Mark Tuppy.
Yeah, okay.
So Tuppy.
Yeah, maybe I misread it. Mark Tuppy, not Marek.
I don't know how to say it, so.
I don't know. But yeah, so that's my number 24.
It is Marek. Yeah.
It is Marek, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's your 23?
My 23 is, this is another one in this tent from Bruno Cathala. This one's with Corentin Lebrat, and it's Trek 12 Himalaya.
Yeah.
And we played a ton of this one as well. This is a really fun one. We had it implemented in a Google spreadsheet for the cards, but we did that, and we custom implemented the dice in our app. But you basically you're climbing a mountain. It's a bit abstract. You're writing numbers in circles, and trying to do sequential patterns or matching patterns. So sets and runs basically. So 5, 6, 7, 8, or 8, 8, 8. 5, 5, 5. With adjacency, and you get points based on how long those chains are and how many of them there are. You get bonus points for really long chains. So it's really fun, and we really enjoyed this quite a bit. So that's pretty much what it is. The cards are pretty cool. They give you special powers and stuff, so that's neat. And it's actually a mini, not legacy, but campaign game. So that it comes with envelopes that you unlock when you achieve certain things. Then you open the envelopes, it has more I won't say too much about it. It has more special abilities and stuff like that, and maps and stuff. So hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler. You know, huh?
No, I said Kattegat.
Kattegat. Oh,
One
so
of the map names.
yeah, so we call it Kattegat. It's not actually Kattegat.
I know.
That anyway. So my 23 is Trek 12 Himalayas.
That is a great choice, and I might talk about that more another time.
Okay.
So we'll see. My number 23 is a print and play from Colleen Williams of Meeple Chase Games, and that is Waterline. Waterline.
That's really high. Nice.
Yeah, I really like this game. You've got a map. It's all below ground, and you're building pipes, laying pipes to create a water line. And the end of the game, if you've got pipes that aren't connected to something or capped off or run into a wall, you've got a leak, and you lose points for that. The dice, you roll 2 dice, and you can either use each dice to draw 1 piece of pipe, but those are going to be your pipes of lesser values. Some of them are annoying, like how many left turns can you have in a grid,
or dead ends,
dead ends, or you can add them together and get like a more attractive piece of pipe that will fit more places. And again, you get points for, there's actually some variable scoring on it, or no, I'm making that up. There's not. There's like 10 or 12 things that you are scored on. Yeah. But it's like, if you've got a pipe that goes all the way across, that's a lot of points. If you've got a whole row filled, that's points. If you've got a whole column filled, that's points.
It did come with 8 different maps.
Yep.
So he has variable maps.
Yep. And there's rocks that you have to draw in there, which can be good. They can interrupt your pipeline, but they can also help fill spots and get you complete rows and columns.
Turns are super fast, but there is 80 of them.
Yeah, there's 80 turns. So another thing I love, it's not a super long game. It's not as long as it sounds, but there is time to do what you want. There's not that panic, oh my God, am I going to finish this? Until you get to about turn 60, and then you realize, shit, I'm not going to finish this. I need to start capping some things off here and like mitigating my losses. But it's basically kind of like a route building game.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love route building? It's something that we don't have a lot of games that do that in the roll and write category, actually.
Route building?
Yeah. Like there's dungeons.
We have a few,
where you're
Railroad
exploring.
Ink and
yeah, that's true.
stuff like that. There's railroad games and Scribbly Gum, and I guess that's more filling in lines, but
there's not too many of them, and I like this. I like this take on a route building, and I like the fact that there's a bunch of different ways you can score. So if you don't manage to accomplish one of those, you can make up your points elsewhere. So so that is my number 23.
I like how simple that one is. It's really fun. All right, my 22 is kind of a combo pick. I mean, one's technically the expansion to the other, and that is Baseball Highlights and Football Highlights, the dice game. So these are both dice versions of Baseball Highlights, the deck building game, and so Football Highlights is considered an expansion of Baseball Highlights because they're that similar. They're very, very similar, and you basically roll a bunch of dice, and it's one of those ones where you have a ton of dice and you roll them and you put all the ones in one space and all the twos in another space and threes in another space, and then you have to draft from one of those spaces, and so you choose like, oh, there's 4 threes out, so I'm gonna draft that, and
but I really wanted the 2s, and there's no 2s.
And in the baseball game, the 3s might represent a triple, and in the football game, it might represent long runs. It's just a slight difference. But they both have this grid on the bottom, which then you fill in from left to right, and you get little, like, here's a 20-yard play, and here's a bonus that lets you mark off another row, lets you mark off another row, lets you mark off another row.
Bonuses.
So it's got comboing, and that's really fun. And it's, as far as it goes, it's a good, light sports game, and it get baseball and football, so it's really good. We got Super Bowl coming up. It's a good game to play on a football day, or spring training baseball's coming up, so it's good for that as well. So We like to match our themes with our games, so that'll happen. But yeah, I really like both versions, and it's a good implementation. That's baseball highlights the dice game, football highlights the dice game. My number 22.
Very nice. That is an excellent choice. I really do love those games very, very much. My number 22 is a crossover on this list.
Ooh, again.
I know. But I mean, oh no, you're right. This is the second one because we had Floor Plan.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have Castles of Burgundy, the dice game.
Oh, nice.
So I don't really remember Castles of Burgundy. It's been a long time since we played it. I know we loved it, but it's been a long time. But we did play very recently this year, Castles of Tuscany. And that one, I can assure you, Castles of Burgundy, the dice game, is the dice version of Castles of Tuscany. It is so exactly similar. And it's a good implementation for a dice version of a more heavy Euro. There's not that much to say about it. You already talked about it, but we really like this game. It's a great way to also feel connection to some of the games that we love.
Because we couldn't play. Part of this whole roll and writes is what we played is that we couldn't play table games for the most part. We did manage some, but very few.
Yeah.
And these roll and writes helped us stay connected to them.
Yeah, and so I think that's part of what I love about Castles of Burgundy, the dice game, but not all. It's a really good game. I mean, there's a lot of that. I feel so redundant, but that timing element, like how long am I going to have? Are we going to get, is this going to be a short round or a long round? Trying to make the most out of what you get. The bonuses which can help you maximize if you bring them in at just the right time, then you can get an even bigger bonus. So I love this game. So that's by Stefan Feld and Christophe Toussaint, and from Aaliyah or Ravensburger. I don't know which version we have. So that's Castles of Burgundy, the dice game.
All right, that brings us to 21, the last number on this list. And for my number 21 is another implementation of a larger Euro game as a dice game on a commercial package. And this is Rajas of the Ganges, the dice game. Inca and Marcus Brand are the designers. And, of course, they designed Rajas, the board game. And this is just a fun, again, very true and honest implementation of the board game to a roll and write format. It's got tons of comboing. Again, something we really love, and I think a lot of people really love. And it's even got a big thing, of course, in Rogers of the Ganges is it's got 2 tracks, and the game ends when you cross on the tracks both your tokens. And the dice game has that too. So it's really in the same spirit of the game. And it does it well. It
so
really
good.
implements it quite well. So very satisfied with it. I don't know what else to say about it except it's excellent.
Yeah, one of the things for us though, again, because we're playing in separate spots, is that we have to warn each other when we're sort of turning a corner on that track. Otherwise, the person you're playing with doesn't have any warning. If you're sitting at the same table, you can kind of keep an eye on it. That's what happens when you're playing Rajas of the Ganges, the actual full-on game. But here, because we're not next to each other, we feel like you've got to warn the other player.
Because it's a bit of a race game, and you want to be aware when somebody else is getting close to finishing the game. It's really important to be aware of that.
Yep, so you can, if you need to do something before it ends, you can get it done.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's a really good game. I absolutely love that game as well.
All right, what's your 21?
My 21 is a print and play. This might be, no, it's not the highest print and play. Never mind. But it's pretty high for print and play. And it may be just because I find it so zen. I'm not sure it's that great. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying that I think my estimation of it's a little bit elevated, and that is Yardbuilder by Mike Berg from We Heart Games. I love this game so much.
Yeah, this is a very simple one. It is zen.
It's so zen. Or just draw in your backyard. You're making your deck as big as you can make it.
Mm-hmm.
You're drawing little flowers in your yard. Maybe you got a pool. Maybe you got a barbecue. I just love this game so much.
Little fountain.
Little fountain. Yeah, the only thing you don't want is yard. Plain old yard's terrible.
You get no points for it.
You get no points. So, you're rolling your dice, and you can pick. What is interesting is the dice that you're rolling. You're rolling 3 20-sided dice. And so the list goes from, obviously 1 to 20. There's like the first 3 are house parts, and then you've got yard, and then you've got sidewalk. And you're just picking what to draw each turn. And of course, you're trying to maximize your scoring by getting, the biggest deck and maximizing that by having a barbecue on it and blah, blah, blah. I just really love this. I love drawing the yard. It's super relaxing. It's super zen. It's super satisfying. This game just makes me happy. Just makes me happy. Straight up. Love
That's
it.
all that matters.
Love this game. Yardbuilder from Mike Berg and We Heart Games.
All right. That's our 30 to 21.
That is our 30 to 21.
All right. So we have 20 more games to go. They're going to get good.
Yeah,
they are good so far. So.
Oh, no. These are garbage. Just kidding.
The old Z routine.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll get to it and look for that to come out every few days, probably in the next week or so. And we look forward to releasing our top 10, especially, of course. And that's
Actually, they probably won't come out until after I get back from Idaho. But
the last 2.
yeah,
but yeah. So that won't be too long. We'll get there. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Remember, every day that you play the game
it's a holiday.
Bye.